és engedjük meg, hogy átváltsak angol nyelvre. So let me switch to English because we agreed that since we have a non-Hungarian speaker, it's much more fair if we all speak in English so we understand each other. So this panel is going to be a kind of an icebreaker. We're going to talk about recent news, breaking news, and I would like to ask our participants to first introduce themselves in a few sentences, and then we go on with my first topic, and I would like to hear your reactions to these recent news about your specialties, basically.
Okay, let me start. Hello, my name is Branko Pujic. I'm from Belgrade. I'm system engineer at Sophos. And today I will discuss with colleagues about current ongoing trends and will present you on what Sophos is working in this moment and how we see the future, of course.
Well, my name is Zsolt Hargitai. I'm from Budapest. I represent here Micro Focus, which is a UK-based software company, the second largest one in Europe, and we have a quite large of security portfolio, and our mission is to give complete IT security solutions for customers, including data security, application security, and human person-related security.
Hello, my name is Gergely Dzsinich. I'm a board member at CyAN in Paris, Cybersecurity Advisors Network, and I'm a Hungarian attorney and university lecturer on the field of IT law and IP criminal law. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's jump to it. A recent article about the Capital One data breach, I don't know if you've heard about that, which resulted in an arrest. It affected around 106 million users' data, including social security numbers in the US and a lot of other data. And that guy who actually leaked this data and actually penetrated the Capital One system is being arrested now. And what would be your opinion on this? How do you consider the recent actions from governmental aspects, from the corporate aspects on data breaches, and what are your opinion on that?
Well, for us from Sophos as a vendor of security protection and the one who constantly doing research in this domain, such kind of data breaches and incidents are nothing new and are expected. It's not a question, is it going to happen, but when and what the range of damage will be. Why? Because we have to change the way how we see the cyber protection and how we protect ourselves and behave in the same time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think we have more and more attacks in the world and also in Hungary as well. And I think there are two important things to try to have a better protection against these attacks. One is to build complete security systems to protect the applications, to check the access right and secure the data. So we have to, it's not enough to protect the boundaries, but we have to have a complete solution for the whole IT systems and protecting all aspects of the IT systems. That's one thing. And the other one is that we need a system which will recognize the attacks on time. And we have to use the newest technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learnings to recognize the attacks and try to avoid the damage before it happens.
Feel free also to react to each other's doubts, so go ahead.
There is one important aspect which I may add to this one. As an advisor to major companies, what we also see that leaks and such attacks can happen basically any minute, right? The question is that basically how a company, how a corporate can react to this one. Not only from the legal perspective, but also from communication, because actually at the end of the day, Capital One also has customers, right? That's basically the focus of the leak. How the company can react to this one, how the company can basically solve the situation. also from communication perspective. These companies are generally on the stock exchange, so these leaks may also have very significant reactions on the market as well. As a further thing, and also from the perspective of being a lawyer and with focus on IT security, it is also very important to focus on the fact that how the case will be handled, basically, how the proofs are being handled. So this is an incident. The incident response team is the number one and prime entity within the corporation to secure the necessary proofs in order to follow up with the necessary and well-established legal proceeding.
Yep. You talked about the legal aspects and more of a practical aspect than the technical aspect. But what do you think? What else could be done to prevent or to handle data breaches like this? So, is there any responsibility from the government perspective? I mean, regulations. What should be done in order to avoid or to be more aware of when something such a data breach happens? What are the necessary reactions?
Well, we are living in the world of shared responsibility. So all of us should participate in this, become aware where we are, with which kind of threats we are fighting against, and what are the real challenges present in the world. So we can't talk about what we can do, but what us can do together to protect the community, the systems, the data, and everything else. Of course, technology without legal framework can't work. So we should have a technology framework, we should have a legal framework together working to deliver protection that is enough or satisfying in this moment. So something like we do as a human beings in real world, the same principles in real world. We are building communities, we are building alliances for protection, and we started in cyber world to follow the same principle and to apply it. So, for example, we in Sophos see this as a future and the model and framework where we should go.
Well, I think regulation is very important, and if we have strict regulation, it helps us, as security vendor, to implement new security solutions at customers. Because sometimes customers say that, okay, I can see there are many attacks, but why me? I will have no attacks. It's
security by obscurity. That doesn't work.
It's enough. I spend the money for other investment and not for security related costs. So, and if there are regulations, then it forces the companies or the institutes or the government entities to spend on security, take care on security, and it's important for everyone, all the users and for the company itself as well.
What I can also add to this one from advisory perspective is that a corporate needs to be focusing on an issue like this one. It's a three-leg chair. The three legs are: one, the legal; second, technology; the third is procedures. Because basically, also on the legal side and also on the technology side, if procedures are not in place, people do not know what to act, how to act, when to act, and who to call, basically, everything is going to be a failed operation. So in my practice, what I see and how we advise our customers is that basically operation excellence is a key thing. This is why you need to test your systems. But systems are not only from technology perspective, it is also about the people. Because at the end of the day, it will be people who will make the necessary decisions to call it a raid, call it an incident, and step forward and take the necessary action. For example, due to GDPR, because it's an incident.
Yeah, talking about people, we have a recent news about a new fileless attack using DNS queries to execute PowerShell commands. So it's a little bit more technical, but how can you be sure that your personnel is trained for something which is brand new? So it's a 0 day, nobody ever used this type of attack before, and if they see it even, they probably won't be able to recognize that this is an attack. What are your opinions about these kind of new technologies like a DNS-based PowerShell command execution?
We in Sophos are very aware of this zero threats, and we have products that are fighting against and preventing from such kind of attacks. We are aware that a human being is not able by itself to defend and to realize such attacks and to react, but generally, as colleagues said, if procedures are in place, then we can expect some good reaction. Of course, supported by legal framework and technology at the same moment.
Well, there are new and new type of attacks every day, and that's why it's important to use such new technologies or machine intelligence and such services which help us to detect unusual activities on the network. Because we as humans just cannot prepare for everything, because we cannot program our systems to make a signal when this happens or that happens, because this is a new type of attack. Nobody's seen this attack, so it's hard to prevent it, hard to program in our systems to react for these attacks. But if we use some modern technologies like artificial intelligence and some technologies I will talk in my session, then these technologies can help us to detect all these activities and then prevent the information systems.
Anything to add?
Yeah, on my point of view, it is what you have just mentioned, machine learning and AI is a critical thing. Why? Because these systems are capable of learning and implementing way faster than humans can do. So that is basically the critical element. That's the added value. But at the end of the day, we have to keep these machines working, and we need to do the follow-up of the results, the conclusion follow-ups. So no matter the fact how good systems we have, but if we do not run them well, we may still have failures in breach management. That's one thing. The second thing is documentation. These systems can also provide us high-class documentation services in the way how a breach is being happened, what we can analyze basically further on later on, for example, in a legal case at court, right? Basically who accessed what, when, how, with what tools, etc. How we can prove a certain breach. So in that respect, documentation is a critical part. Actually, GDPR is quite focused on this one, so this is one of the good examples why GDPR is good, because one of the main focuses here is documentation as an obligation for such corporates.
I've heard that the US is taking more seriously the GDPR of Europe than we do in Europe, but I don't want to get into that topic now. Let's jump to my other question. We have seen recently quite a few ransomwares around the world attacking not only like corporations or private people, but also governmental institutions or healthcare institutions, like the incident in the UK attacking the UK healthcare system. Recently there was a ransomware attack on a Texas government in the US, and they have suffered some serious losses because of this ransomware. We have heard also, it's a good saying, I like that the ransomware is the new crypto mining ransomware. So it's non-purposeful ransomware just for the sake of causing harm is more and more common. Or we don't yet see the actual reason behind it. What is your opinion about these ransomwares, and why are they targeting, without seemingly any purpose, governments and corporations?
There is no. All of these attacks are targeted attacks, and this is the latest trend. These days. Cyber criminals they build integrated business model, and they are performing attacks based on positive business case. So they have money, they have resources, they have skills, and they have a target. So this is not just they're picking the right organization or person who to attack, and at the end, from which target they can get some profit. So this is very serious and very complex operations.
So you're saying that even though we don't see it yet, there is a hidden purpose behind all of these
very,
events.
very big purpose, of course. Money is on the first place, cash. But ransomware exists. It's not new. It exists for years. But attacks are getting bigger and bigger, or creating much more complex or bigger damage.
Well, one thing is the technology, that we need good solutions to protect against these attacks, and the other thing is, like you mentioned, procedures and training, which is also very important to train the users how to work, how to use the computers, and be a user who really cares about security and not just run programs downloading from the internet from any suspicious sites, or clicking on dangerous attachments, so it's important that they have to be trained to how to use the computers in a secure manner.
Thank you.
So basically, looking at the fact how this works is, yes, criminal psychology plays a very important role here. Those victims are the most vulnerable, who are the low-hanging fruits, who can be caught by the easiest action. What is important here is the following, that this is going on a return on investment basis. These criminals want to have the most profit out of the lowest work. So this is something which is the fundamental. The last thing which I may add to this one is Europol has launched a fantastic project that is called the No More Ransom.org project, which is supported by various law enforcement entities, various security companies, software companies, and the No More Ransom Sheriff program is something which can provide a quite good and swift help to these attacks. So I kindly urge everybody to check out this website and take benefit if possible. But as a very important thing, never negotiate with people who ask money from you through ransomware.
That's a nice closing sentence, and thank you all for the participation. I think our time is over, and let's listen to your speeches.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.